Great. I'm happy to be here once again, and I want to celebrate you, appreciate you for coming here to be a part of this training. Yesterday, I started off and I wanted to show you this. The book is there already, but I decided to do the video. We're talking about transiting from or transitioning, sorry, this is a mistake, transitioning from singlehood to a lasting marriage. This is targeted at Christian single professionals. Now, I know that many of us are busy in church. For those of us who have made a commitment to walk with the Lord, but I have observed at a very personal level that there is a gap. You don't seem to have who to talk to share your earnest desire, the longings of your heart, and maybe just get lost in the euphoria of singing praises, lifting up holy hands, and all that within the church building. But when you go back home, it's a different ballgame altogether. So I did start this yesterday, and I want to repeat the reason for this course and why it is important now. And I want to repeat, I've written it here. You have done well for yourself. You've built a career, strengthened your faith. I hope you do, and surrounded yourself with good friends. I believe you do that as well. But when it comes to the coaching or choosing of a life partner, something tends to be holding you back. You can't really say what that thing is, but I don't believe it is demonic. If it is, then you need to get help as soon as possible. And you can get help from your church. If you can't, contact me on my Facebook account and we can organize for that to be done for you. And sometimes what is holding you back is basically fear. Fear of what? We'll get to talk about some of these things later on. But let me mention here, as you can see, fear of making the wrong choice. Maybe it's the pressure from the family that is trying to push you out, but each time you want to take that step, at least to overcome the pressure, something holds you back. So if it is fear, what kind of fear? We'll talk about that as well. But many of these things, the time of my broadcast is not that long. So we'll take it bit by bit and see how much we can cover within the time available to us here. So when the pressure comes, we're going to talk about that today. The pressure, whether it's the silent pressure of being a Christian single within the church, within the society, from your family, we're going to talk about that today. Maybe it's the pressure from your family. We'll talk about that. I've said church, the society, and people just feel that they want you to feel, not just that, they make you feel, or they want you to feel that everybody else except you has gotten engaged, or they have fixed their wedding day, they are all prepared to get married except you. You are not supposed to come under that pressure. And I'll tell you what to do. That's why this is important. And it's easy to say, leave it for God. I will say something about that later. Or perhaps deep down, you are not just sure how to recognize the right person when they come along. So let's see about the silent pressures of being a Christian single. Why that? Why do we have that title? Let's be honest, being a Christian single professional can feel like a full-time job. And in itself, it's a lot of pressure, intensity, more so when you're a professional, because there's also the challenge of balancing. How do I balance my love life with my job or my business. However, you have set up yourself, however, you've been able to successfully attend where you are today. Well done. But that in itself, like I've mentioned here, it feels like a full-time job. So where do you get the time to be able to maintain a relationship or even start? Where do you meet? Like I've mentioned, many churches don't have that provision for Christian single professionals to meet up. Because in the process of serving God together, um, worshiping, serving within the church, you get to meet. In our own case, we met in the choir. All right. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's even recommended. We will recommend that. So let's see. Between the ones that are well-meaning aunties in the church or at church who are asking, so when is your wedding? Or the social media making you feel like everyone else, like I said, except you, is getting engaged. And the pressure becomes so real. What do you do? How do you handle that? But here's the thing, rushing into marriage just to make sure you silence the noise is one of the worst mistakes you can make. Just to make sure people don't ask you, just to make sure you are not amongst those the society is trying to put the pressure, or even your friends asking what's happening in that area. I know it used to happen to us. It used to happen amongst our age mates. Or you turn around your friend that you were working together, all of a sudden it's no more working with you, he's working with um, the love of his or her life. How much pressure can that put? It can be so real, it can be so much pressure and with a lot of intensity. And many times at that stage, you have just come out of a life of dependence. And now you have succeeded in proving to yourself you can be independent in making your decisions and choices. However, this is one that you may need to find out who can help you. And people prefer to even pay a coach, pay a mentor to be able to guide them. Of course, that only happens with the very wise ones who are aware of the fact that they have to develop themselves, they have to invest into themselves, because it doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter whatever you intend to achieve, if you do not invest into yourself, the tools, the machines you are buying, at some point they will fade away. But the self-development is something that has to be continuous. Now, that has no respect for whether you are religious or irreligious. It has no respect for that. So we have to keep developing yourself. And if you ask me at my age now, and with all I have come to know, between doing personal discoveries and getting yourself a guide, a human guide who is worth the title or worth is whatever he's doing, which one would you prefer? Yes, we thank God for the SatNav and all the rest of them that help us navigate our way. But when it comes to real life experiences, thank God for AI. All those things that are able to pull information for us in seconds. Now, getting the information is one thing. Being able to have that personal experience, the experiential knowledge is irreplaceable. And many times, the person who has been through that path is going to be invaluable, irreplaceable. And if you reject that, then you are not doing very well. It's very easy to say, oh, I'll let God show me. Yes, he will. But are you able to understand? Because many times he uses those he has shown before to tell you and make your distance shorter. All right. So the important thing to do is that marriage shouldn't be about the timelines. It's about the alignment. I like that. Your life partner should be someone who complements your purpose, not just someone who conveniently checks a box. You get what I'm saying? It's very convenient to just tick a box. Okay, you do this, you can do this, you wear this, you look like this, and all that. Excuse me. So let's explore more of these pressures, whether it's the silent one or the one that is happening internally or the one that is trying to come on you from the external forces. And it doesn't, excuse me, it doesn't respect the fact that you are a very serious Christian, you're born again, you love the Lord, you have time to pray, you read your Bible, listen to good messages that are helping you. So it's a very unique challenge, many of which we rarely discuss openly. The challenges you have, whether it's the silent one, whether it's the one that is very, how do we put it? It very subtle, like the one we mentioned about the aunties in church, well-meaning ones. Some of them would be praying for you silently, but when they bring this up, it's like the first time. I'm sure if my daughter hears this, she will laugh at me. The very first time I suggested, can I buy you some bras? she almost she almost gave me a punch, and I made sure I kept my mouth shut until she was the one who was asking to pick them up by herself. And the funny thing is that the mother had traveled by then, so it was just me and them. So I thought I was just being very attentive and present with them, not knowing I was going to look for trouble. All right. So many of these things, we rarely discuss them openly. While you may, excuse me, project differences and success in your career, internally, you might be wrestling with doubt. You might be wondering, what should I expect? And there are some unspoken anxieties about marriage that I know many Christian single professionals go through. And then the experience you have in church is different from the one you have at work. And you know why it is called profession or occupation is that it occupies you. A good chunk of our lives is put into what we do as a means of earning or livelihood. That is very legitimate, and nobody can blame you for that. In fact, everybody should congratulate you, should salute you for doing that. But this is an aspect of your life that will make life more interesting. Think about a man who has everything and nobody to share with. A time comes when life becomes boring and meaningless. So let's break it down, the different types of pressures you may be experiencing. Now, if I do not complete this, I want to invite you to come inside. And when you do and attend some of the webinars, just indicate, let me know that you have listened to this and you want the whole of this. I will quickly just mention the different subtopics. And since I've already prepared it, I'm happy to give it to you as my present. But you will need to be inside for me to give you all the rest of the points. Now, this is silent pressure, the expectation no one talks about. All right. This is the pressure that lingers in the background, unspoken but deeply felt. It's expectation that by a certain age, you should have found the one. Excuse me. That somehow, despite excelling in your career and depending on your faith, something is still missing if you're not married. That is something many believers, their parents, they themselves, as they are growing. In fact, at some point, some young ladies do not like to celebrate birthdays. But let me warn you, this thing that we are all excited about, you're looking forward to, it's a lot of work. Now, that's not to scare you. It makes life more exciting. It makes life more challenging. You get exposed to things. The things you upheld to be your idols will actually be challenged, and you will consider whether you want to maintain them or not. But just know that it's a good desire. If you desire to marry, Bible says it's a good thing. So questions like, why are you still single? If others don't ask, you ask yourself. Some begin to question, am I not good enough? It's not about whether you are good enough or not. It's that certain things have to just align. And that's why I made that post. The concept that if God is with you, he would drop your spouse or your prospective spouse into your life without any effort on your own part. It's not true. It is not true. That because God is with you, you are highly favored. You know, you will just find the person you might see the person in the dream. You might not, because it's not a rule. God might just show you that to help you because of the state where you are in, and in his mercies, he just offers that. So don't hear some other person's testimony and think, okay, if I don't see mine in the dream, I won't take a step. You have to find a way, get help, talk to somebody, get a coach, because a coach working with you gives you that sense of you are not alone on this journey. And it becomes the coach's business to make sure what is your goal, your aim, what you are looking for, that you achieve it. And it gives the coach a very inexpressible sense of fulfillment. Now, the assumption that marriage equals success is not also true. There are many people we know. Christ himself didn't have a wife except the church. Even in the Christian circle, it is meant to feel like that in some congregations. That shouldn't be it. So these are the silent pressures. The fear of missing out is a silent pressure. In short form, they call it FOMO. You feel you are missing out. It puts pressure on you, might even make you, like the one I talked about, feel like I shouldn't be celebrating my birthday again because I'm growing older and I've not gotten married. You should be more prepared to make sure you are walking into the future with the person who values the hand of God upon your life, who values who you are, who is not easily intimidated. Now, I'm going to mention the other subject to invite you to come inside and get them. The internal pressures, the battle within. Sometimes this is even the most difficult. The silent pressures from others may not be as severe as this. The self-doubt, balancing ambition and relationships, the spiritual guilt. How can I, as a Christian, have a relationship that will lead me into marriage? You see, this diagram here, the image here is actually to show you this person. I'm using this one as is in competition, but it's not really the others, but it's what he himself wants to achieve. And in this kind of competition, you can hurt, you can wound yourself. But you see, that pressure is internal, not so much as what the other, as much as what the other person is doing, as what you want to do. All right. And then we have the external pressure, that one from the society. Okay, we didn't mention the church and family expectations. See? So these are things that you will gain from this, but I'm not going to allow this to be too long, because on the inside, you'll be able to get this. If you come in and you want to do the full course, the pressure to settle versus the pressure to wait. What is that about? Okay. And then navigating the pressure with faith and confidence. These are things to deal with. Being a Christian single professional comes with its challenges, but it's also a season full of purpose, growth, and preparation. Instead of letting pressure dictate your journey, be proactive. Allow God to guide you, guide your steps as you transit towards a lasting and godly marriage. Now, this is where I want to make a comment, and the comment is, amongst or between praying by yourself, listening to good preaching, I know we have some very good teachers, preachers, and studying and coaching. Which one do you think will help you most? Now, nothing takes the place of prayer. Nothing takes the place of prayer. But which of these, apart from praying for yourself, praying, just having your time with God, and if you are a good, very disciplined person, maybe you are doing some training between you and the person, if you have found the person. But which of these do you need to be helped? So that's one of the things you have to write. If I am to give you these free, you have to write it just in few words to me. And but that means you have to come in. So wherever you found this, you are going to find a contact which will lead you to where you can have access into our lists. And it's after you come in and you are part of my program, that's when I'll give you this. But I'm very happy that I'm able to do this today. So I look forward to seeing you on the inside. There are quite a lot more things that I have to share with you. But remember that these pressures can be so real and it can be so intense. And that is where we come in to help you, because I found out that many times when people do not find this help available, they begin to explore other possibilities. It will be my joy and that of my team to be able to help you. My wife and I, we are glad to help you, to support you, because when we were at where you are now, we needed this help. We didn't find them. It wasn't there. It wasn't available. So I encourage you to come inside and let's see how we can help you. But until the next video, or when I see you on the inside, God bless you, and I look forward to seeing you then. Bye for now.